coaching and problem solving. We're going to break it down into two subjects or two topics. One is learning and the other is style versus technique. There's a lot of ways to learn, but I want to just talk about three things that everybody can do. One, you go to a clinic. They're everywhere all the time. A lot of experts come in, a lot of authorities in the subject, and I recommend attending clinics on a regular basis. Videos, well, no need to tell you that you're watching a video right now, and it's one of the best ways to learn. So go to a good resource. That means somebody that you know has a reputation for being a quality instructor, and watch videos. The most difficult way to learn is trial and error, and it's difficult because you have an idea, you have a plan, and you go out and you can't quite get it to work the way you had it in your head. You're going to make mistakes. Eliminate the mistakes, correct, become better. Now, the biggest part of coaching comes in when you're looking at an athlete and you have to understand what is the difference between style and technique. There are athletes who just run and they have a unique style that's all their own because that's the way they are built, and it's also contradictory to certain excellent technique. I can teach the proper technique up to a point, then I have to live with their stylistic differences and learn how to train within that to maximize their ability and not ruin them or slowing them down because you have removed their individual style. Let me give you a couple of examples of athletes I had who had these style technique issues. One was in the Winter Olympics, a skeleton athlete who was he was pretty fast and he ran real well on dry land. When we got to the sled on the ice, his outside trail leg was just going nuts all over the place, and it drove me crazy because it was not good technique. We worked on it and worked on it. And when we did trials, we found out his times were very good and he was in the top 3. And so we just kind of decided probably need to leave that alone instead of trying to correct it and mess him up. A gold medal later, the decision to leave him alone was good. Another example of style versus technique was a football player who we were trying to get his 40 start to be as good as it could be, because in football there's money in the 40, so we have to protect that. As we were preparing for the 40-yard dash for the combine and pro day, this football player had a habit. Now, he was a little shorter than most of them, but he was just couldn't get away from the line. And we have a process to where we keep our players at least 1 foot length away from the line based on their shoe size, so we can maximize angles of the arms and legs and explosiveness off the line. This guy had such a unique build that when he got up to the line, he was wadded up literally like a cannonball and literally exploded off the line. And I couldn't argue with him. I couldn't make a difference by moving him to the way I preferred. So we left it alone, and second round draft pick later, he was doing just fine in the NFL. So those are a couple of examples of how style and technique are somewhat in conflict, but they're really not. You have to identify what is style, what is technique, and what can help the athlete and what hinders the athlete. The object of the game is to help the athlete to win, not prove how much you know. And you might prove how much you know by saying, okay, I like it, do that again. That's the best coaching advice I've given some of my athletes.